I wrote a story that came out this week, and it was sort of an exploration of fintech. I got rid of cash for an entire month. Didn't use any physical cards, so just digital means. And throughout the experiment, I wanted to push myself and try to find what's the furthest possible extent of this future of payments. And I found a guy who is chipping people in Sweden, and I went over to Sweden and he did it.
Now, how often do you get personally rejected? I mean, your payments in your hand. I mean, we know cash is pretty much universal, except when you leave the country, then a credit card works better for you. Phones are catching up. Is your hand better than the phone? Is it worse? Does it just sort of depend on what you got implanted in there?
This is we're not there yet. Basically, you get
You're not there yet.
You get rejected everywhere. There's a few places that I found that I was able to try to do this. One which is from the video you guys showed. And those are people who can accept something like Venmo, who are already kind of on the progressive end of this. But most of the time, I mean, even phone paying, you only see it in really big box retailers or really sort of niche, like expensive coffee shops.
What's the reaction when you tell them how you want to pay?
Oh God, I mean, they're basically dumbfounded. I mean, people are dumbfounded when you try to pay with your phone at a place that doesn't understand it, or that, there are a lot of places that should be able to accept this, it's a chip card reader situation, and a lot of people don't.
Do you wish you had implanted it somewhere else? I mean, that seems like kind of an awkward place. You kind of have to twist your hand over. I mean, I know it's less painful maybe than putting it down here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a glass chip, so it should be under some skin. I mean, right here you're sort of, banging it against things, and it's painful. But
are you more pessimistic on fintech as a whole as a result of this, or is the trajectory just more shallow than we think?
I think what we have, there's definitely a really interesting, bright future here, but I think there's been a lot of hype surrounding it. There's, a lot of people are saying, okay, Apple put out Apple Pay, we got Samsung Pay, Android Pay, all these things are going to change us right away. But it's kind of a generational, behavioral thing that takes time.
Do you think that that's a bigger challenge on the consumer front or the merchant front?
I think it's both. I mean, I think the merchants can do a lot to just quickly adapt to this, especially with with the mobile payments, and I think that they will. I mean, you're seeing it now with the chip and PIN, which is really helpful, and RFID. But in terms of consumers, there are a lot of people who still think that there are security issues, and you know what? There could be. So I think that this is something that you're going to see a new generation come up, get more used to this, and I think that that generational change will really make the difference.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Now, what you just seen was this reporter from BuzzFeed Tech, Charlie Warzel, who decided that he wanted to get chipped after going around using his cell phone and paying with his cell phone. So he decided to go to Stockholm, Sweden to get chipped. And I'm just going to elaborate on this is all an agenda by the elite to force people to accepting this mark of the beast, the chip, okay? Now, this is from CNBC. You just saw a CNBC video. Now, this is from CNBC, the website. And CNBC is Central News Broadcast Center. This is the financial news media for the American Empire, aka Babylon. Okay, and with the title, it says it right there: Satan's credit card. What the mark of the beast taught me about the future of money. So right there, the elite, the Illuminati, the so-called Illuminati, the Jesuit order. Okay, all the way down to the punk bitch-ass Freemasons are already pushing this agenda, okay? And they know the Bible, all right? It says, Silicon Valley has sold us on cashless, cardless, walletless, supposedly frictionless future. But as I learned living in it for a month, we're not quite there yet. Right, because the economy's got to collapse first in order for them to implement this chip, the mark of the beast, so that everyone's forced to take it. And if you take it, you're going to be destroyed. So let's get to a quick scripture. All right. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. And that's right. And we here at Great Millstone, starting from the apostles of Great Millstone all the way down to the soldiers like myself, we are giving you warning. We are giving you the play-by-play, okay, what is happening here in this planet, okay, mainly here in Babylon, America, how they're pushing this RFID chip, which means radio frequency identification device, onto the public, okay? And it's really to get you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because you make up the 12 tribes of Israel, all right? They want you to be destroyed with them, okay, the so-called white man, all right? So let's get with this article, all right? There's the picture again. He goes on and says, my choice to get microchip was not ceremonial. It was neither a transhumanist statement nor the fulfillment of a childhood dream born of afternoons reading science fiction. I was here in Stockholm, a city that supposedly left cash behind, to see out the extreme conclusion of a month-long experiment to live without cash, physical credit cards, and eventually, later in the month, state-backed currency altogether, in a bid to see for myself what the future of money, as it currently being written by Silicon Valley, might look like. Now, if you don't know what Silicon Valley is, that is the high-tech hub of all the major corporations, from your Apple, your Google, okay, Cisco, all right, Microsoft, all right. Now, this is another article. Says company claims to have made unclonable RFID chips. Silicon Valley startup Vario is claiming to have produced a system that provides unclonable RFID chips. Now, in Silicon Valley, if you want to start a tech-based company, okay, this is where you go. All right, this is where all the tech companies start at, and that's where they become big. And this is where they will start manufacturing, I believe, the RFID chip, okay, from Silicon Valley. All right. So let me get back to this article. It goes on and says, some of the most powerful corporations in the world, Apple, Facebook, and Google, the Goliaths, the big guys, the companies that make the safest bets and rarely lose. That's right. Why do they rarely lose? Because they're part of the establishment. They're part of the elite. Okay? They're part of the Illuminati. Okay? Are pouring resources and muscles into the payments industry, historically a complicated, low-margin business. All right? But here's a key kicker, because the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, said this. As Apple CEO Tim Cook warned a crowd in the UK last November, quote, your kids will not know what money is, end quote. So this is the agenda, okay? This is the agenda by the top elite, your Rothschilds, your Rockefellers, your DuPonts, okay? And what they're doing is that they're pushing these tech guys, okay, into implementing this RFID technology onto the public, all right? And Tim Cook, he's just a low-level demon, all right? Low-level Satanist, because he's not really in control of nothing, okay? The powers that be, the elite, the Rothschilds put him into that position to promote this agenda, all right? So let me get to another scripture. All right. Salakia, Revelation 13:16 through 8. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay. And when you look up that word mark, it's charagma, okay, which means a stamp. Okay. And what that stamp means is that you say that I want to be property of the so-called white man. I want to be property of Esau, okay, by you taking this chip. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, so you're not going to be able to buy or sell, save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, okay? So that's what we here at Great Millstone, we constantly push out, that this RFID chip is going to be the line crossed in the sand, so to speak, okay? That if you take this chip, all right, you're basically saying, I don't care about the Holy Scriptures. I don't care about the judgment that's coming. I want to get hit with nuclear fires with my owner, Esau, the so-called white man. Because if you're a so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American taking this chip, okay, you're saying you want to be property of the so-called white man. You want to be property of Esau, all right? Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, all right? Now, let's go back to this article, because what the scripture just recited, this article, these writers know the scriptures, and they're literally mocking the Lord, okay? But let's go to here. It says, to hear Silicon Valley tell it, the broken and leather wallet is on life support. I want to pull the plug, which is how, ultimately, I found myself in this sterile Swedish backroom staring down a syringe the size of a pipe cleaner. I was here because I wanted to see the future of money. But really, I just wanted to pay for some shit with a microchip in my hand. Because that's Esau. He's Satan. He's adversary to the Most High. And his son Yahweh Shai, okay? All right, he's adversary to the scriptures. He don't care about the Holy Bible. All right, even though he's read it, he's rebelling against it. All right, because the Lord put the Spirit on him to be the wicked on the planet. Now let's get to the key point here that I want to show you, just to show you how wicked these devils are. Look at this. Millennials don't trust banks, but they trust Apple and Google. Okay, just to get people psyched for this chip, get their children. Let me get down to the point. All right. There he is. That idiot taking the chip from this demon. Okay. Who I want to show you a picture. That's this demon that's chipping people. And if you see right here, he has a swastika. Okay. Just the devil letting you know what he believes in. All right. But this is the part I want to get at. He goes on and says, as I pushed through the door of calm body modification, a bell tinkled amiably as if to reaffirm the shop's namesake. I look up at the proprietors, tall men with all their exposed skin covered in tattoos. Above one, a sign advertised genital piercings for 1,000 kroner. Now, why would you put that in an article? This is about the RFID chip. But, Esau being the devil, being a sick, twisted, demonic demon, he's going to put some gay shit like that because he's a faggot too. The so-called white man is a natural faggot, okay? Anyway, continuing on. My piercer, Che, and I retired to the back room where my screwing would take place. Okay? Quote, so now I'm going to tell you something you probably don't consider before. Okay, so this is the guy, this guy right here, Salakia, telling that Edomite, okay, both these demons, all right, mainly the other Edomite, what he's going to hear. So now I'm going to tell you something you probably didn't consider before, he said, furrowing his brow. People, very conservative right-wing Christian types, okay, might come after you for this. They see it as the mark of the beast. I just want you to be prepared. I nodded like this is something I had expected to hear. So the devil, that guy that you saw on CNBC being interviewed, he knows about the Bible. He knows about the mark of the beast, but he doesn't care because he's the devil on the planet, Esau. This comes from the book of Revelation, which I just read to you. Quote, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You see right there? So the devil knows the Bible, Esau knows, the elite know the Bible, and they're just pushing this out, okay? And simpletons, you 2/3 blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're going to fall for this, okay? Because the Lord ain't dealing with you. But let's get to another scripture, okay? Because there's an agenda behind this of how they're going to push it, okay? And this is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, all right? So this is from CNN Money. It says Apple tech giants lead 1.6 trillion cash hoard, okay? So they're hoarding cash. It says right here, corporate America's cash stockpile keeps growing. U.S. companies held 1.68 trillion cash last year, up slightly from last year, and more than double the corporate cash stockpile in 2007, prior to the Great Recession. And these are all the big tech corporations, okay? You can read more into that, but what this video is speculating, okay, it's suggesting that the reason why they're hoarding all this cash overseas, not even here in America, is to escape the tax code, all right? So they're trying to have tax safe havens. They're, safe havens to not be taxed. That's what they're speculating, but it's deeper than that. So here's an article from New York Times. Why are corporations hoarding trillions? All right. There is an economic mystery I've been struggling to understand for quite some time, and I'm not only the one who's confused among financial experts. It is often referred to as a conundrum, a paradox, a puzzle. The mystery is as follows. Collectively, American business currently have 1.9 trillion in cash just sitting around. Not only is the state of affairs unparalleled in economic history, but we don't even have much data to compare it with because corporations have traditionally been borrowers, not savers. So what this, writer is stating that, usually most corporations borrow because who do they borrow from? The banks, okay? But now these few corporations are now hoarding cash from profits they made from all these consumers, mainly here in America, okay? And abroad, but mainly here in America, buying their merchandise or their products. The notion that a corporation would hold on to much of its profit seems economically absurd, especially now when it's probably earning only about 2% interest by parking that money in United States Treasury bonds. These companies would be better off investing it in anything, a product, a service, a corporate acquisition that will make them more than 2 cents a profit on the dollar. A raise to their margin by corporate standards, and yet they choose to keep the cash. That's right. So, this is mind-boggling to all these financial gurus. They're like, why are these big corporations putting their money in treasury bonds, and these treasury bonds are stored outside of America, okay? Because you can read the other article to prove that. So they're wondering why is that happening. So let's get to the point. Slovakia. All right. Well, that's interesting. Okay, right here. It goes on and says, do apologize. Oh, right. Let me refresh this. Okay. All right. Bear with me one moment. Something with my with this article, because it's obviously there's a part at that bottom that they speak upon, and it looks like it cut off. So just bear with me one moment. Okay. Okay, so it goes on and says, which leaves one last question. Why? The answer, perhaps, is that both the executives and the investors in these industries believe that something big is coming. That's the part I want to get at. So what's that big thing that's coming? To implement the RFID chip onto the public, onto the world. But this is crucial. They're not sure what it will be through the 20th century as we shifted from a horse and sun power agrarian economy to an electricity and motor power industrial economy to a silicon-based information economy. It was clear that every company had to invest in the new thing that was coming. Okay? These were big, expensive investments in buildings and machinery and computer technology. So what are they investing? What are they building? What are they getting ready for? To build them factories, okay? To build those chips so they can start implanting it on people. All right, that's why they're hoarding all this money. Okay, and it says right here, surely the most important economic question of our time is a fairly simple one. Are the good times over? Will wages continue to fall for many while rising high for a few? In the cash conundrum, we might find a modest reason for optimism. If corporate leaders and their investors truly believe that the future were bleak, that innovation and economic growth were irreparably slowing, there would be little reason to hold on to all that cash. Their hoarding of it hints that they think the next transformative innovation could be just around the corner. Okay? So there you have it. they're getting ready to build these RFID plants, as you know, if you want to call them, so they can start putting it on people. Okay, and if you don't believe it, then why is this happening? And this is according to Breitbart right now, in the world. Okay, it says governments of the world are coming for your cash. So on one hand, you have the governments of the world coming for your cash. Then you have the saviors of the world, Apple and Google and Microsoft, saying, hey, you know, get the RFID chip, okay? So you don't have to worry about this useless dollar. And it says right here, large denomination physical cash is going to be outlawed if central bankers have their way. The push toward a fully digitized monetary system where every transaction will be recorded, scrutinized, controlled, and taxed is being sold to the public as some miracle elixir to cure the world of criminal behavior. That's why you're having all these corruptions amongst private banking corporations, even though the central bank's behind it, even though they're all in cahoots with each other, but it's all the agenda to push that RFID chip. So you have no way of getting out it. And if you're not part of the elect, you're going to take it, okay? And because you have no faith in the Most High Power. So let's get back to the scripture again. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right? So we shouldn't be ignorant of these times. We should know that this so-called white man, this devil on the planet, is going to implement this RFID chip onto the public. And if you're not part of the elect, okay, you are about to feel the wrath of this of the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, because if you take that chip, all right, you are definitely going to get judged harshly with the so-called white man, because you said in your heart, if you're a so-called black, Hispanic, Native American man that takes that chip, I want to be property of the so-called white man. All right, that's what you're saying. You want to be property of Esau. Okay, and with that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim out there pushing the truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And once again, death to America. Shalom.